Coming up, I put on a brand new pair of glasses. An ambulance turns right onto Batesford Road. And a pair of World Matchplay 9-dart finishes as I follow sport play by play.
Hello everybody and welcome to the 4th edition of Play by Play. Now this is a true story. As I was uploading the 3rd edition and mucking around with a couple of different things, which meant the video was released at 9 o'clock instead of 8, the Australian Cricket Society people finally got around to publishing my video on the deaf cricket team. So I sort of half mentioned that there was going to be some Australian Cricket Society stuff coming out soon. Turned out it came out in between me finishing the video and it actually going up live on YouTube. So it's down in the description below, the link if you want to read my article. I was able to speak to Callum and Jake of the Australian deaf cricket team, and they told us about their involvement in deaf cricket and the team itself. So you can check that out at the link below. There's several links down below. As I'm sure you've already noticed, many of the links I won't even know because they're videos I haven't published yet or work that hasn't been published yet. Now, as for today, which is the 2nd day of July, we're over halfway through the year already. I'm going into the Extra Time studio to record my darts podcast. Then I'm coming back home and I'm going to sit over there at my desk and record footage out online. Mark Woods is back by the looks of things, so that'll be happening later in the afternoon. So that's where we're at. But I've got to get out of here and make sure I get to the Extra Time studio, the Homeschool and Chadstone studio, to record the Darts podcast. See, this is the problem with the Extra Time studio. There's a lot of stuff just sort of lying around. I'm actually holding one back, so if I let that go, that's another thing that's connected to the TV. I pulled a cord out. That one, I don't know if that does anything. Oh well. This area reminds me of that Top Gear episode where Jeremy Clarkson builds the Excellent and James says, there's a lot of cords here that aren't actually connected to things.
There's a lot of wires hanging out of the dash that aren't connected to things.
I haven't given it an interior.
But we'll do a darts show soon on partly on the US Darts Masters. Alrighty, we're happy enough with it. Let's go. I've started recording it at this point. We can edit out everything. So I want to go in front of this camera.
No, I won't need the chargers, but nice.
Then around that microphone. And then in that web. Sit down and record a show. Once I was able to squeeze my way into the seat without bringing down the whole pod room, my co-host Josh and I discussed that week of darts on episode 23. The episode focused heavily on the World Series of Darts event that occurred in the theatre at Madison Square Gardens, New York City. Big shout out to USA Darts. They are North America's #1 dart streaming company who are grateful for us Aussies discussing American darts. After this, I would head home to record another edition of Footy Chat virtually from home to review that week's action of AFL. It's just been easier that way for my co-host on that podcast, Woodsy, and at least we are getting out something during those weeks. For the sole time in this month, I went back into the Vision Australia radio studios. This show, which you can find by following the link in the description, was a bit different from any of the others I have been in the producer's booth for. The first half was actually pre-recorded. In fact, host Matt Lee was in amongst that pre-recording when I arrived. So Matt did the host of Vision Sports did a pre-recorded bit, which is what's playing now. I press play on the computer there. Alright viewers, now that we're alone and it's a bit quieter, I might just redo a bit. I actually did Walking Along the Main Road, but that audio was terrible. I'm at Kooyong Station, but the next train doesn't leave in 18 minutes, so I've got more than time to do a bit of chat to the camera. Camera being just my phone. But in Vision Australia, as you saw there, good show. Matt was by himself, so I had a pre-recorded bit for the first half hour, and the second half hour was with Damon Watson, who he knows from SEM, which is a good get, talking about the AFL. Cats play today, hoping they can beat the Tigers and join Matt's Bulldogs in the winners' circle for round 17. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to go in there for the next like 6 weeks because of the Nunawading Lions doco I'm working on and recording their games there. But once that season is finished, I pretty much can go in there every week and really learn. The boom gates are going down, but there'll be a train going to the city because I've literally just checked. It's 17-18 minutes before the next train gets here, going where I want to go, which is away from the city. Yeah, so that's where Vision Australia is at. I think this is going to be a good opportunity. I've been doing more pressing buttons and queuing things on that producers setup they've got there, which is it's a nice little setup. Good little spot to do it. Not too far away from me, which I can get in by train or by road. So yeah, good spot. Yeah, here's the train coming to the city. Yeah, so I'm just going to wait here for the next quarter of an hour because I've got nothing else to do. I'm going to wait for a train which will take me from Kooyong towards where I live. Yeah, so good morning, Vision Australia Radio. I think this is going to be a good volunteer, so there's no money yet for me, but a good volunteer experience before I actually get really hands-on into more in-depth media work, which is what this vlog series will show. Hello there. How do you like these new glasses? And wow, everything's in HD all of a sudden. My short-sightedness has gotten way worse. Right, I'm going to take these off because I don't need them right now. I'm going to record a short I've wanted to do for a very, very long time. I think the clip I'm going to use I've had in my phone here for a few months, talking about funding for sport. I'm so passionate and I think this is such an important issue. I'm actually going to play my short in its entirety right now for you to watch in case you haven't seen it already. From the Macquarie Point Stadium in Tasmania to the 2032 Olympics in Queensland, the Office for Women in Sport and Recreation in Victoria, getting government funding for sport and sport-related projects seems to be going through a bit of a tough time right now. Many are seemingly content with this. I am of the exact opposite view. I am very much with what founder of Matchroom Sport, Barry Hearn, said a couple of years ago when interviewed on the High Performance podcast.
I'm a big believer in government spending on sport, which I don't think is anywhere near enough. I think we should be spending the same amount of money on sport as we spend on defence. There's a percentage of gross national product that we allocate to overseas good causes, and yet we've got 30% of children undernourished in this country. It's not about inviting test match players or footballers to Downing Street for a photo opportunity with the then incumbent Prime Minister. I wouldn't go until you start doing something for grassroots that gets on my wavelengths, where every kid's got a chance, not just private school kids.
Hearn there was speaking about his native UK, but the principle he articulates I think is very important. Sport is a community event, which is crucial for a lot of people's daily lives. It also provides great hope and opportunity, something lacking for quite a lot of young people right now. It also provides means for someone to come from absolutely nowhere, and then all of a sudden they are among the very best in their field. We actually see this quite regularly across sports like boxing and darts. Defence is about defending the country itself, but sport is about defending the character of the country. So from infrastructure to those top leagues, all the way down and very much including grassroots, I am with Barry Hearn. Spend roughly the same on both. This is Lorenzo Moore-Hayes, and that was just an opinion. Not long after that first article by the Australian Deaf Cricket team was published, another article of mine for the Australian Cricket Society went up. This was on the World Test Championship final, when the cricketing sun, for a change, was shining on the blooming Proteas as South Africa won by 5 wickets. Earlier this year, I made these predictions on Extra Time. So that first one was a no. Still hope for Di-Mauro. Hey, it might happen with these World Series events in August in Australia and New Zealand. This is a good time to mention because I don't think I've mentioned this in previous editions, and if so, it's only been a passing. But these articles that I write for the Australian Cricket Society are also available to be read and commented on over on the Footy Almanac website. John Harms, who is my mentor for this journalism scholarship, also is heavily involved, of course, with Footy Almanac. Hopefully another article of mine on the Australian West Indies Test Series just gone will be up not long after this vlog is published. Back to the Extra Time studio a couple days later on the 9th. Alrighty, here we go. I still think if Sam didn't let us in, we wouldn't be. We'd still be outside there trying to get security to let us in. But big thank you, Sam Duncan. Right. Lots of 9-darters today on the 9-Dart podcast. Here we go. There's no sound coming out of the computer. The test works, so hopefully this will. Alright, Josh, I'm going to press start record. Right. And then I'm going to rush over there. And we're going to get going pretty quickly. Because I'm still not sure how I'm going to edit this if I don't have any sound. But let's hope it works. I'm just going to have to guesstimate. Where is the mouse? Here it is. Ready? Yep, I'm in the ready position. Let's go.
Right, here is something odd that happened. Here comes an ambulance that went past me after I had left the Holmes Glen Chadstone campuses, turning right up onto Batesford Road. It's an odd thing that happens, and usually something does when I am on the road. By the way, that intersection there, Warrigal Road, Batesford Road, I'm certain in the next year and a half, by the time my time at Holmes Glen is over, there is going to be like a massive, major, horrific accident. It is such a dangerous intersection, and I briefly glossed over that fact in Series 1, Episode 1, but fair dinkum, look, one of these days, just something awful is going to happen there. Anyway, after this, I returned home, and from my bedroom, I recorded yet another Discord-recorded episode of Footy Chat, reviewing round 17 of the AFL season. The decision by Woodsy to increase the boxes we are in made a lot of sense. That was very well done, Woodsy.
Seconds ago, just wrapped up Footy Chat with Woodsy, another good show, so that'll be coming up soon. Our podcast was already recorded, obviously. Those tight scares with the audio recording all worked out in the end. As you can see, I'm all rugged up here, partly because I wanted to show my cat's colours. That's part of Footy Chat. That's very fan-focused, but also because it was a bit cold in here. But yeah, I'm happy with how Footy Chat's gone the last couple of weeks. Haven't been able to do it with Woodsy being away, but we've done a couple of online editions, and I've been pretty happy with them. Numbers-wise aren't amazing, but yeah, I enjoy talking football. It's a Australian football, the AFL, for all its flaws as an organisation, the competition they bring is pretty strong. Mind you, my team, I do have the luxury of supporting a fairly successful football team of the last, 15 years now. Amazing news from the Nunawading Lions documentary point of view. I am currently doing some more sorting, given that there's no internet at our house at the moment, given they're doing some work directly outside our house, funnily enough. I was wondering, how on earth do I get all these files in an order I'm happy with? I'm using here the round 4 game against Bayswater, because these were the first 2 games. This was the first game where I brought that extra camera with me, and so they're in an M2TS video file, and they don't number the same, but they number very similar. Look how the phone and the MP4 files have a hyphen. So if I, as I've done with several others already, and I'll do it now, and hopefully try and catch it for the camera, rename, and we will cut it off there. So it's exactly the same. It is the day going year, it's gone year, then day, then month. And if I add a hyphen, that's the time. So that one was taken, that video was started at 10:27 and 2 seconds on the 3rd of May 2025. And when that goes, that'll now go into a proper order. So now this entire thing will be listed when I do this very last one in an order that I'm happy with. So sorting this, I realised how exactly I can now get to anything in the future, because now, as I do that very last one, let's scroll up here, up to the very top. So even though, ignore the date, because that's when that was downloaded off the camera onto the USB, but we can see this was the time when each video started. And so we can see that these, I think that was just as the match was beginning in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those 6, maybe even that 7th one. How long is that one? 14 seconds, yeah, so I think that's right as the siren goes to end the first quarter rather. So all those were taken in the first quarter. So by knowing the start time of these games, which for most of them have been 8:50 in the morning, I can have a rough idea just looking at it. So that 9:21 is almost certainly from the second quarter. So by this way, I'm much better able. I was talking at the end of the last episode, reading the last few episodes, how tough this is to sort, but I found a way that they're sortable. I'm very happy. This has probably been an extremely boring last 3 minutes, but I can assure you, I'm very happy with this development.
Here is a name I think Australian sports fans should be keeping an eye on going forward. Maya Joint, a young up-and-coming tennis player who won the Eastbourne Open, the noted Wimbledon Prep tournament earlier this year. Plenty of great names have won that event, and she has been slowly building her way up the rankings. If you're interested in how she's got to where she is now, which is a career high, I wrote an article for extratimemedia.com on the 11th of July about her rise thus far. The link is of course in the description. Remember the Nunawading Lions, that battling local footy club? I am in the process of filming matches of their under-19 team, hopefully leading to a doco. Well, they're back, and in a big way. Bayswater had some unsavoury thoughts about their opposition that day. You'll have to wait around for the doco to learn that. But safe to say it was a bold strategy for a team who had won one game all year and got thrashed big time in their first match against this opponent at their home ground. Did it work for them? No, of course it didn't. For the first time all year, the Lions won at home in a brilliant performance. Well done, Alex, for knowing where the camera was here too. You know the drill at this point. Here comes the song. Right, back to recording the 9-Dar podcast. What great difficulties have Josh and I got this week? Well, there are a couple. Here is the first, and I know this is a weird photo, but I have to explain this. Trust me, it makes sense. This year, I've broken a couple of laptop chargers by accidentally tripping over them. By the way, I have never done such a thing in like the 6-7 years I've owned computers. Anyway, now when I most recently did, I was able to get a hand on a backup charger, but it is a bit problematic because sticking it straight into the computer doesn't exactly work. It requires a sort of elevation to work, hence what I've done there. I can't really use my phone charger because it's a bit small in terms of lengthwise. It takes forever to charge properly and badly hinders performance. This is what goes on in my life. Luck is not really on my side. Anyway, back to the boardroom. True extra time fashion, something usually isn't working. This week it's this computer, which is always working, but not this week. But device black magic, sound-wise, so we should be good to go. Alright, Josh.
Alright.
We actually ready?
Yes.
Episode 25
9-Dar podcast.
of the 9-Dar podcast. We're going 988, 112, 510, or 17 for double four.
How do you do it?
17 double four, because it's next to double 18, my favourite. Alrighty. So recording? Yes, it is. Right. Not much room to squeeze around there. Not yet. Josh has to get water, which is... He's always obsessed. I have mine, by the way.
Alright, fine.
Have to remind him every week that I prepare these things.
I don't drink enough water, so
Well, neither do I, which is why I bring one to remember.
stay hydrated.
Exactly. What did Sam Denby say from that jet lag episode? Hydrate or dihydrate. Alright, let's go. The next 9-Dar podcast was a big one. Episode 25 was the preview of the PDC World Matchplay, the second biggest ranking event in PDC darts. People enjoyed it, but there was one problem, and it was also a problem to a degree in the following week, and that was the audio and Josh and I's lip movements didn't exactly sync in the second half of the video. I have been promising for ages to get the 9-Dar pod up and available on audio-only providers, and I think the show does really work if you listen to it like that and not get too worried about us. I will do that, hopefully, soon, maybe, eventually, probably. I hope. Now, I also did write, over the following weekend, a preview to go with this podcast, previewing the World Matchplay, for extratimemedia.com. I don't think I need to tell you where the link to that is. Coming to you from the, what's today, the 17th, I was about to say 16th, 17th. Obviously you just saw extra time stuff from yesterday, just off a meeting. I reckon it's going to be better. This sort of I wanted like 3 proper full-on videos a month. Of which the last one was obviously play-by-play. But the way it's going, I think it's going to be easy to do 2, and maybe I need to do 1 a top 10 Something like that. I'm going to do some rethinking on this because I came in here with one article due in a couple of days, and now I've got another one due a couple of days after that, which is fine, I can do it, but it is tough with regard to the YouTube channel. I've got so many emails I've got to send to people, and I'm not confident that they're going to respond to me back on time. We'll see. Next up for the Lions were the Whitehorse Pioneers, who play off the same main road as Nunawading. Unlike the previous time they played, this game was actually fairly competitive. They weren't too far back at halftime, but the Pioneers were kicking to the better scoring end in the third quarter and shut down any hopes of a win pretty quickly. But it was the strongest Lions performance so far in a loss, kicking 6 goals, which is actually pretty impressive to put up in a defeat against a Pioneers-type team in this EFNL Division 4 under 19.5 competition. Not a lot of these games have been close, and none of the Lions have either. On the 22nd of July, I published one last article to extratimemedia.com for this month. I was writing after Australia's 3-0 series win against the West Indies. That series finished with Stark taking 6, including a triple wicket maiden for an opening over, and then Scott Boland becoming the first Aussie to take a hat-trick in 14.5 years. The article reflects on the state of West Indies cricket and Australian cricket as well a little bit. While Australia's openers struggled, which I wrote about in that Australian Cricket Society article that will hopefully be out soon, it didn't really matter. Because the West Indies, they're just too poor at the moment, and that isn't really great for Australia, because it doesn't provide much of a contest, and of course isn't great for cricket at large.
After about 40 minutes of jigging around.
Yes.
We're about good to go.
Funny moment again when there was no audio. I was like, why? Because this thing wasn't turned on.
Okay, well,
Needs to flick things back. Hopefully this week,
the lip audio.
the mouth and the voice will look decent. That is fine. That looks very, very good. Alrighty. I'm in my Stephen Bunting shirt because Stephen Bunting is into the last state of the match play. And we've got such a big show. But the thumbnail and the title is all about Jackpot Adrian Lewis. He's back playing competitive darts. Here we go. Start recording. Here we go. I initially thought we could easily take the World Matchplay weekend off. But we've got another big show. Let's just flip these around and cover at the top there, so all you see is the camera is the flag. Episode number 26.
Yo.
To be honest, I would have been happy to take this week off, given the ongoing World Matchplay, and in fact in the first half of the week leading up to that moment, that's what I was planning on doing. But when Adrian Lewis announced his return to competitive darts, well, I wanted to get back behind the mic as soon as possible. One of our best shows in terms of raw numbers, and amongst a thrilling week at the World Matchplay. It had even been great just to that point, and boy does it get better. There was no footy chat recorded that week due to Woodsy being out to cover Heidelberg United's match in the Australia Cup. Right, throughout this whole month, I had been working on a video I was very excited about getting done. The 2018 PDC World Matchplay was a great event, and ended in great style. You should find that out by checking out my video if you haven't already. What you're seeing is how the editing process finished in OpenShot. And this is why I'm not churning out weekly videos, because I write and edit these all by myself, and AI is nowhere to be seen. This is not slop. It's sloppy, but no slop. Though AI voiceovers are probably more listenable than my voice, so it would probably be an improvement. Anyway, I'm showing you this just to show that the editing can be tiresome with a lot of very small video clips. Viewers don't really notice this when watching a final product, but man are they a hassle when you are making it. This video has done well better than a lot of my other recent stuff. This channel is amazingly on some kind of inflection. Yeah, I don't believe it either. But that tournament was great. It had the lot. 170s, upsets, tiebreakers, and 9 darts from Gary Anderson. Actually, you know what? Let's watch that again. That's more interesting and enjoyable than listening to me talk about it. Here it is.
You have to, of course, expect your opponent to do that sort of thing and respond in kind.
What a night we've had at the Winter Gardens. What a darty party this is.
136.
Go on, Gary, come on. The little twizzle made no difference.
Yeah, he didn't quite get a clean transfer to the throwing hand, but it didn't matter. He's on.
We've waited since 2014 for a 9-dart leg. Gary Anderson wants treble 19. To end the wait! The magical 9-dart leg from the Flying Scotsman.
Absolute brilliance, responding. Even Joe Cullen has to break out and smile. What an absolute stunner of a leg. A 9-darter to make it 2-2 and to break back. And we might have said in other matches, he'll need a 9-darter to break Joe the way he's throwing. Well, he did it.
What a leg. The link to that final video, as well as, well, everything else I've mentioned in this video, is of course down in the description below. I'm quite happy with how that video ended. I mean, it's not as good as that Luke Littler 9-darter where he and Rock were literally perfect. Should I show that one as well? Yeah, why not?
His first leg, coming back and doing that. Shows no panic, no nothing. Josh Rock is easily up to the task here. And Littler, well, and Josh now starting to crack them in.
Back to back for Littler.
They're both on 9s. They're both on 9s.
Back to back for Rock. 1-4-1 for Littler. Can he add a win to 9 a double 15? A shrug of the shoulders for the young man who makes the extraordinary look routine.
That is the second best leg you will ever see in your life. 180, 180, 180, 180, 141.
This is the best play-by-play episode so far. Less me, a more history of the Winter Gardens Blackpool. Mind you, that Littler 9-darter happened the same day of the St Kilda comeback and Wanganeen Millera's insane last minute. Sorry Saints fans, as good as the biggest fourth quarter V/AFL comeback is, it's not 15 perfect darts good. So it was still only the second most impressive thing to happen in sport in that 24-hour period. Right, the day before, Littler and the Saints did crazy stuff. The Lions had a game to play. It was against Scoresby. You remember that team that beat the Lions at home in a bit of a surprise in that twilight fixture? Well, Not a Warning rectified it early. None of these games have been particularly close. Making this doco interesting is going to be a bit of a hard job. There were some bad injuries in the last quarter, which did sour the win a bit, and resulted in a proper stoush. Again, all details will be revealed, well, sometime next year, whenever it gets done. Despite this, the Lions moved to 4 wins on the year with 3 games to go. Josh said we'd be ready to go by, what, 12:30, you said?
Close enough, but then we'll have to fix it.
And then I was changing all sorts of things for this camera to make it look half decent here. And I think I sort of got there.
Yeah.
Should we leave Jai in the shot, or should we take him out?
No, let's take him out.
Alright, sorry, Jai. Whoops.
If it was a bunting bobblehead...
Oh yeah, we'd keep the... No, bunting bobblehead goes on the table, but we're leaving it there, Jai, for today. All is ready to go. All is in readiness for the final 9-dart podcast of the month.
Indeed.
Reviewing the World Matchplay. Luke Littler, Triple Crown champion. Shall we go?
Yes, let's go.
I don't know if my computers are gonna last charge-wise this episode, because they're still frustrating me. Anyway.
So for the very last Wednesday recording session for Extra Time, I was in the studio for the 9-dart podcast, reviewing the World Matchplay, which Luke Littler fantastically won to claim the Triple Crown. What an extraordinary week that was in Blackpool. And apart from having to jump cut at one point, because I started having a blood nose, basically nothing went wrong at that point. Then we went to a footy chat, which me and Woodsy recorded in the evening. I've just done footy chat, so that means we are done for July. Nearly said June there for a second, given it's behind me, albeit backwards on this camera. Let me just show you for a second. This is my laptop charging with the phone charger that means it takes forever. I tried to plug this in at one point and cause Woodsy stream to the recording of the footy chat episode to be a bit choppy
and then the computer died, so he just gave up on potentially talking a bit of local footy, which the Nunawading Lions have 3 games left, and if you're in the area, please do feel free to come down and check out the Lions. So coming up next month, well, there's a couple of interesting projects which I can't reveal yet that I might be able to talk about next month, in addition to the normal stuff about the Nunawading Lions documentary, which I will finally start potentially editing. Yeah, I haven't even done that yet. Very soon. In addition, obviously, there's the usual YouTube Australian Cricket Society stuff. The Australian or West Indies test tour article will be coming out hopefully soon, in the early days of August. I do 500 million things, so I'm probably forgetting a bunch of other stuff. But like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That World Matchplay video was a big success, so we are really growing, and I'm hoping to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year, and we're very much on track. Thank you very much for watching yet another edition of Play by Play. When I resume, well, there's going to be plenty more, but until then, stay safe. Good night.